In a situation like a shopping mall, it seems like over the last 10 years, shopping malls have been on the decline anyway. Every week I say this, but I feel like COVID is really the acceleration of a bell curve of things that were going to be moved out anyway are being moved out earlier. In the same way, it's things that were going to move them out are moving in earlier than they might have. So how does a business project, seems like the word of the day here, is to project that they are going into something that is the new thing that people are going to want to do, right? Like if you were talking in 2000 saying that, hey, I'm going to have this thing online and people are going to upload their pictures and they're going to talk left and right, people would say that's silly. In 2020, that's a multi-billion-dollar business. In 2020 or in 2010, that's a multi-billion-dollar business. In 2020, it's basically one of three of the largest businesses in the world. And I'm talking about Facebook. Like, how do you figure out where that you should be or not in that kind of spectrum of the world of shopping malls seem to be a popular 80s and 90s things. They're not anymore. Where do you go in kind of predicting what makes sense from a business viability standpoint?
Well, that's a tough question to answer on a global scale. It really depends so much on what the individual business product or services are and whether or not they can successfully operate them without a storefront presence. I've got some clients that thought they needed storefronts that because of COVID have come to realize that they don't need the same size storefronts they did before in the same locations because their client base, again, in one case in particular, are people generally, teens and early 20s that have migrated themselves to online platforms, and they're finding that they can sell their products online very easily because their target market has already migrated that way. And so they really have to focus on who their customer base is and how technology friendly their customer base is well as is their product transferable or can it be moved to an online platform. What some companies are doing is they're continuing to keep their storefronts in certain cases, but they are really pushing their online presence at the same time so they have more outlets for their product or service than they had before because they're realizing that being associated with a storefront doesn't make as much sense as it once did. But again, it depends. I mean, restaurants can't do that, obviously, but it depends again on what their product or service is and how they are able to translate that or expand it into an online presence.